Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's the Hoops Guru, and I'm back. Today is the start of the NBA playoffs in the bubble, and as a Hoops fan, we couldn't be more ecstatic, man. This is what we've been waiting for. The bubble has been great, great basketball for sure. So I'm hoping they'll even turn it up a notch in the playoffs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do two videos. I'm going to do one for the Western Conference, and I'm going to do one for the Eastern Conference, predicting the first round. So let's start in the Wild West. Why not? Uh, what I'm going to do is let you know what teams I feel are going to win their first round series. First up is the Lakers versus the Blazers. This series right here is going to be tough. Some close games for sure. Some breakout games, some high performance games. I'm ecstatic to see Damon Lillard and CJ McCullough going against the Lakers guards. I'm going to be ecstatic to see Carmelo Anthony going up against LeBron James, and also seeing what Nurkic and some of the other guys can do to help to try to slow down AD. But if I'm going to predict this series, I'm going to have to give the nod to the Lakers. I'm thinking it's going to be Lakers in six. Like the Trailblazers for sure, and I know a lot of people are actually predicting them to win the series, and I don't think that's a crazy idea or anything. But when I really look at it, I just think the Lakers have more depth. Uh, Portland, they just have to rely on their dogs. They're going to rely on them too long for too many minutes. And I think as the series goes on, you're going to see more and more tired legs coming from Portland, who's had to grind this whole time just to get here. And I think that's what's going to help the Lakers persevere. They got multiple bigs they can throw at Nurkic to wear him down. Um, we don't know about the sustainability of Carmelo Anthony. I know he's been good, but does he have some great games in him? That's what's going to be required for them to beat the Lakers. And LeBron James, this is he's been salivating. This is what he's been waiting for. So we know you're going to get the best out of him. So can the Blazers do it? Yeah. Do I think they'll do it? And it's hard to say. I'd be happy if they did. I love upsets, but I just think the Lakers are primed for this, and I think they have the depth and firepower to sustain Portland, and they are the first seed. So, if they lost, it'd be a terrible upset, and they'd kill LeBron for it. So I'm sure he's aware of that, and you're going to get his best effort. So round one, Lakers versus Blazers. I'm taking the Lakers in 6 games. Hey, now staying with the West Coast, man. This next round, I'm going to talk about Clippers versus Mavericks. This joint is going to be crazy. This is going to be a very exciting series. I think you're going to see guys also putting up some great numbers. The matchups are going to be interesting too, seeing what Luka Doncic can do, what Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers can do to slow him down, what Kristaps Porzingis can do in the playoffs. I don't believe he's been in the playoffs. If he has, he hasn't done anything that I can recall as a Knick. So it'd be nice to see what Kristaps Porzingis can do on the big stage as well. Paul George has a lot of pressure on his shoulders, but I think this is what Doc Rivers and the Clippers been waiting for. They've been kind of playing it safe, keeping guys rested and healthy. Now they're finally healthy and ready to go, except for, of course, Montrezl Harrell. It'd be awesome to have him back with the Clippers right now. So him and Lou Williams always had that bench dynamic going where they actually kind of wear other teams down and kind of won games with that second unit. Uh, and either Montrezl Harrell finished a lot of games from well, so he's going to be sorely missed. Joakim Noah's there, but he doesn't have the energy as he used to when he was a more dynamic player with Chicago earlier in his career. But anyway, I look at the Clippers and Mavericks going 7 games. Actually, I think this is going to be one that goes 7 games, but I'm going to give the edge to the Clippers. I just think they have a more dog in them on the defensive side. Beverly and Kawhi Leonard, those guys are just going to show that they're a little more hungry than Dallas right now. I think Dallas is going to be the team to beat in like a year or two for sure. But right now, I actually think they're ahead of the curve than what people predicted. So it shouldn't be too much of a shock. And I think the Clippers are on a mission. They want to at least meet up with the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. So I think you'll see a lot of energy coming from the Clippers, and they just got veterans I think that are a little more seasoned for what the what the Dallas Mavericks are about to encounter. So I'm taking the Clippers, but I'm taking them in 7. This next series I'm going to talk about, the Denver Nuggets versus the Utah Jazz. This is a series where I'm going to predict a team, and if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong because this is a hard series to predict. Both of these teams, to me, are fairly evenly matched. They fairly have the same amount of playoff experience. I don't really see a distinct advantage on either side, to tell the truth. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's going to boil down to what Jokic can do against Rudy Gobert. Can he pull him away from the basket to keep the lanes open for his guys to be able to go off and do their things without Rudy Gobert, the Defensive Player of the Year, intimidating them and altering a lot of shots? Can Michael Porter Jr. do uh, more of the fantastic things he's been doing in the bubble in the playoffs, because he hasn't experienced anything like that yet? What can Donovan Mitchell bring now that Mike Conley's going to be out for a while? Can he raise the stakes of his game? And who's going to join Donovan Mitchell as well? Will Ingles be able to step his game up with his surefire shooting to make up for the loss of Conley? And will we have a bowl sighting? Will his length uh, pay dividends and win a game or two for them with his shot blocking abilities or abilities to stretch the floor? Can he have a few breakout games that could steal some games for the Nuggets as well? But if I had to predict with a gun to my head, I guess I'll take the Denver Nuggets in six. I just think Jokic and Jamal Murray, they have a good chemistry going. I think they're ready for this. They're finally getting healthy, even though they are still missing Gary Harris and Will Barton. I think Michael Porter Jr. is gonna prove, even show a little more of himself on this big stage. I think he's gonna have a few 30-point games in this series that are gonna be the difference. So I'm taking the Denver Nuggets in six, round one. With this next series, I'm glad I'm not a gambling man, because I wouldn't want to put money on either one of these teams, but I do think it's going to be an interesting series for sure. And this is the Houston Rockets versus the OKC Thunder. This series here, I'll just say it. I think I'm going to pick the Houston Rockets in six. I'm not going to pick them in seven, because if I had to pick 7 games, I would go with OKC. I like OKC's length. I like their energy. They could go. They can kind of match up with playing like Gallinari at the five if they wanted to. They have a mobile center in Nolan's Noel who could run the floor and mix some things up for them as well. But I'm going to give Houston the edge because they have James Harden. Even though they're missing Russell Westbrook for the start of this series, I don't know if he's going to miss more than one game. I'm think he's going to miss at least two, but I just think this is more opportunity for James Harden to be his dynamic, explosive scoring self. And maybe a guy like Austin Rivers could have another big game, or even Eric Gordon seemed like now that he's back there, he's due to have a breakout game as well. On the other side, Chris Paul being the Pied Piper with those young guys. I just like the youth athleticism that they play with. I like the way they're connected on the defensive end, how they can run the floor. Dennis Schroeder, he can be a terror attacking the basket. We know there's not going to be a lot of defense on the Houston side, so there should be some easy transition buckets for OKC. But at the end, I just don't think they're going to shoot as well. I think they're going to fall into playing Houston's style of play, and Houston's going to get some they're going to get some one or two easy games in there that's going to wind up costing Oklahoma City. And remember before the season started, a lot of folks didn't even see the talent that these guys had. I did. I remember I was getting you know laughed at it by a few friends of mine because I thought OKC was in good shape. I like the roster. I like what they had. I like when they got Shake. I like everything they got from the Clippers. My only thing was wondering if Chris Paul's head was going to be in it to play with these young guys being traded from Houston. But you know, hey, he's a baller and Chris Paul's a leader, so he's got these guys playing well with him. But I just don't think they're going to shoot well enough. Unfortunately, I think they'll play Houston's game, and that'll be the change. That'll be the change in the series. Uh, but if Houston lost, I would not be shocked. I know they'd be disappointed for sure, but I wouldn't be shocked uh, because Oklahoma City definitely has enough. It's just going to come down to, are they going to be able to shoot as well as Houston in this series? And it remains to be seen. But I'm going to take Houston in six. So there you have it, folks. This is my Western Conference round one predictions. Just for a recap, I got the Lakers in six over the Blazers. I got the Clippers in seven over the Mavericks. I got the Nuggets over the Jazz in six. and I got the Houston Rockets over the OKC Thunder in 6. That last one, I'm kind of shaky on, to tell the truth, but hey, had to make a choice. This is what I did. So, hey, leave your comment, leave your predictions as well. And if you like, click the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt and really helped me out a lot. I love talking basketball, and I'd love to talk more with you. Thanks for the support. Peace.